Hello, everyone. We are recording yet another podcast on Brewed Stories channel. We are recording this with Dr. Oshin Puri. He's a graduate from AIMS Rishikesh, a research fellow in stereotactic and functional neurosurgery, and a well-being change maker and Check.org Global Student Prize finalist. Dr. Oshin Puri, how are you first?
I'm great, Akhil. Thank you so much for having me on your channel.
That's really good.
And I'm really looking forward to interacting with you. What
Yeah,
about you? How has your day been?
I am very good. I'm very looking forward for this conversation to carry forward. And our audience is eager to know how your story began as a medical student.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to share the bits and parts of the journey that
Yeah,
is going on, I would say.
yeah, sure. So, how did you enter this MBBS field and how did you decide to be a doctor and not something else?
Yeah, so it might come or it might sound as a cliche,
Okay,
but what happened was in class 8th, our school bus that used to, sort of transport us right away from Rohini till my school in civil lines in Xavier's,
okay,
that bus shut down.
okay,
It was a private bus service. And so I started traveling by metro. Now, the thing is that I'm a very empathetic person. So whenever I see sorrow or pain, it somewhere deep down, I notice it. And at times it also affects me.
okay.
So I used to travel on metro, and on metro stations, I used to see a lot of people, some injured, some begging, some, in different sorts of pain. And it used to affect me. Now, the first instinct is always, to give them something
Yeah,
to eat or some money or something like that. And so there was this one instance where I discussed with my mother that how can I help such people? Because every day I look at them and I feel very bad. And my mother told me some not so ideal truths about how these people tend to misuse the donations that we make. And so I was left thinking that what is the best way to help such people, at least those who are in pain.
hmm,
That is when the idea of medicine or becoming a doctor uh, dawned to me that, a doctor is by profession somebody who heals, who helps people, who, you know, helps alleviate their pain,
yeah,
right? So that is when I sort of made a decision to pursue medicine. Now, cut to class 10th, there was a little change. I thought that, okay, maybe I should do chartered accountancy because I loved mathematics and,
okay,
balance sheets and all of that. I also gave a financial literacy test and I scored good in it. So I thought, okay, why not shift the perspective? I did a lot of workup about how to become a CA and everything. I
hmm,
almost made up my mind. But the day I got the form where we have to take up the branches in the subjects in our class 11th, I went to my mother. I said, please fill it, whatever you'll say, I'll do. She was like, you fill it, whatever you'll fill, I'll sign. I contemplated for 15 days, and on 31st Jan, the last day when I had to submit the form, I just entered biology with maths as my first preference. Because somewhere deep down, it was always medicine that I wanted to do. And that is how I took up biology with maths in class 11th. I joined Akash, started studying for medical entrance examinations, and eventually landed up a position in Rishikesh. So it's a very cliche story, but then I am a very emotional and empathetic person, so that is how
yeah.
it actually began for me.
No, that's a very different sort of story I've heard from the students which have entered in this field. Now, I just wanted to know that what all difficulties you faced while you were preparing for your pre-medical test before NEET.
Okay,
Like that's a very crucial step in any medical student which one has to go through. So, what are your challenges you faced?
I mean, at that point of time, I would say the challenges were they were less in number and
Okay,
more in severity, is how I
okay,
would put it. So preparing for the pre-medical examination requires a means dedicated, hardcore hard work. There's no shortcut to it, right?
I understand.
So you need to study for hours altogether. You need to practice. You need to build up a temperament to answer, 180 questions in 3 hours. Now, at that point of time, the challenges I faced was balancing between my class 12 board examination and my coaching examination or my pre-medical test preparation. The second would be that I was in a regular school, so I had to maintain my attendance there.
Mm,
And I was always involved in extracurricular activities as well. So I had to balance them also. So, that was the second challenge that I faced during my preparation. And the third and the most important was, as I said, the mindset, the
yeah,
temperament that you have to build for the exam. That, you will work hard, you will achieve it, and you will make things happen.
that's very important.
There's a lot of anxiety that you need to overcome. There's a lot of practice that you need to do. You start with questions, you don't know the first 10 questions, and then I used to get stuck in a loop. Okay, 2 years of effort and all the investment is going into vain. So overcoming that mindset was, I would say, the biggest of them all. Time and everything we can manage. I mean, at that
Yeah,
age, many of us, or most of us at least in Delhi, used to live with our families. You know, food, household chores, everything was taken care of. Mental health used to be very good living with families. So those things weren't a problem. Balancing school and the mindset, the yes, I can do it mindset
yeah.
was the challenge that I faced.
That's very relatable. I also went through a similar thing that like that only. So now we have entered in a prestigious medical college that is AIMS Rishikesh. What are the first things that you noticed after becoming a medical student? What all the changes you noticed in yourself and in your surroundings?
Yeah, so the first and the biggest hit after entering medical school
Hmm.
that we get, I'm saying we because this was a common finding amongst all my
Yeah,
batchmates, is when we leave our schools, we are all top-notch scholars from our schools, right? We are scoring like
that's
anything,
sure. Yeah.
top five, top 10. In our coaching institutes, we were doing all great.
Hmm.
And then you enter a medical college and you come across your first exam and you're struggling to secure a 50%, you're struggling to pass. So I won't say, I won't use the term the bubble bursts because the hard work that we've put in our school
Hmm.
years is not a bubble.
Yeah,
It's an achievement of our hard work. But somewhere we do get to experience that, you know, an academic life is very different from a professional career.
that's for sure.
What you'll come across reading in patients or researching, that's never going to be defined. You'll never know what's coming. Still, you have to make the best out of it and you have to, uh, quote unquote, do at least 50% to pass,
Yeah.
right? So that was the biggest hit. I still remember the first anatomy exam that we had, and we had the results of it out. I think it was a 50 mark exam, and the highest were like 41, one person got it.
Hmm.
Then we were all in 30s, and all of us were baffled. Okay, what happened? Right. We never got the question paper. We never
Yeah,
got the answer sheet. We don't know what we did right, what we did wrong, but we just did it. So that is the first hit that you get. At least a lot of my batchmates got. And then whatever comes after that is somewhere a continuation of the same.
yeah,
So the curriculum, what you're expected to do is vast in medicine. There are no limits and bounds of how much you can
yeah,
study or how much you should study.
for
Right.
sure.
And at that point of time, there's nobody to also give you a direction. I mean, professors come, they teach certain important concepts. They're never going to cover syllabus that we are used to in our coaching institutes or in our
Yeah,
schools. So it's basically like, you are in. a maze and you have to figure out things yourself. The maze is going to take 6 years, come what may.
Yeah.
And
I,
there are going to be the darkest corners. There are going to be endless, closed ends that you land up in. But it's all on you to gather motivation, come out, start again. And that sort of balance and struggle, motivation, these are some important things that medical students come across. And I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I do believe in energies, and a medical college is always attached with a hospital,
yeah.
right? Hospital is a place where people come out of sadness, except for the
That's very
obstetrics
true.
department where
Yeah.
children are born. Everybody is sad, people are dying. So the energy there is not always the best. And that also drains you to a certain level, right? When you are 24/7 on campus, because most
Yeah.
medical students are on campus, we don't have that much of time. Somewhere that also drains your energy, your motivation, and it becomes a struggle to keep hustling
That's true.
even after your even after class 12th, when people say अब तो medical college में आ गए, अब तो ऐश ही ऐश है.
मजे ही मजे.
The struggle actually begins.
That's very true.
So, these would be the, I would say, little the take home messages, I would say. The the transition
Yeah.
and then the expansion of life as a whole, of your curriculum, of your academics, of your friend circles, of your personal and professional relations. And then to a certain extent, the quote unquote energy of taking this journey
Hmm.
in a hospital.
That's very elaborative explanation you have done. So, a personal experience I want to know from your side that जब आपने पहली बार एक डेड बॉडी को देखा तो आपने क्या सोचा? As you have mentioned, you are a very spiritual person. So, what thoughts went behind your mind that, oh my God, I'm seeing a dead body right now?
So, the first time we come across,
In the
I would
dissection
call
hall,
it a
of course.
cadaver, as we do
Yeah, kidap.
in the medical college, is in the dissection hall.
Yeah.
Now, you know, surprisingly, I did not have any strong emotions or reaction to seeing a cadaver.
Yeah.
Because the cadaver is, it's well preserved with formalin.
Yeah.
It has undergone rigor and, it's stiff.
Yeah. Sure.
And you don't really, you learn a lot from it, but you don't really see it as a human being.
Yeah.
You know, you respect it as a teacher, but it's not a, a patient. Right. I hope I'm able to convey the sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
For me, the first, quote unquote death that I came across was in February 2023 in my
Yeah.
posting in pulmonary medicine.
Yeah.
So, since you quoted spirituality, I'll just
Yeah.
mention I came back from a leave. I did an advanced meditation program with the Adult Living Foundation. I used to regularly go for them.
Hmm.
And I just came back from the program. I went
Okay.
to the pulmonary medicine ward. I was sent with the patient to be taken to dialysis. And what happened was that the patient arrested in the dialysis unit.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So I was the only doctor there from pulmonary medicine. Other people were from the nephrology and the medicine teams. Right. And I was sort of feeling responsible because that patient was admitted under pulmonary medicine, even though there was a transfer order and everything, and the responsibility was transferred to
True.
the hemodialysis unit, but
Hmm.
still I was feeling responsible. And that was the first time I gave you know, a CPR to a live patient, and we did the entire, resuscitation process. And that was really heavy. I came up with all this high energy from a lot
Hmm.
of extensive meditation, and then it suddenly dropped down
Dropped down.
because I saw that first death happening in front of me. I felt responsible for it to a certain extent, right? Even though the patient had a bad prognosis in itself, but still I was feeling very much responsible. And that evening, I actually called back my meditation teacher. And asked him that how do I process it?
How should I handle
And
this?
then he told me a lot of things. I'll not go into the details of it, but he really
Hmm.
helped me process it in a positive way, and something that he said that, see, everybody's destiny is already written.
Yeah, I understand that.
You become a medium of the destiny,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
very
going
true.
there with a high energy would definitely make a difference in their afterlives or something like that. But that one thing, whatever he said, it really touched me. It really helped me come out of that. And eventually, from then until I came to emergency medicine, unfortunately, death becomes a common
Yeah,
occurrence that you come across again and again. Every time you don't feel the same level of um, sorrow or emotions, it sort of starts mellowing down. You start looking at what you can do to save,
yeah.
what you can do to
Hmm.
help them out instead of spending time in that sorrow. And I think that is the most important training of actually being a doctor.
That's very true. Uh, Now, as we have mentioned, a part of an MBBS journey, which you just said that getting through this kind of phase where you have seen someone dying in front of you. Now, I want to move to the ending phase of the MBBS, that is internship, which is itself a very hectic thing that most of the people passes out, and even most of the people feels very drained after that, that they don't want to even continue medicine. So, what are your take on that? How did you took internship? Did you took it as a challenge or as a burden on you? Just
So
a random question that came on my mind.
yeah, I would say I was very blessed.
Yeah.
My co-interns, I'll give them a shout out here. Aditi, Kashish, Divyang, and me, we
Okay.
were one group of co-interns.
Okay.
The best set of co-interns I could have asked for. The best. So it just so happens we were all hardworking. We all were studious. We were all very focused. So we were always, you know, thinking towards getting things done.
Yeah.
We have been given responsibilities, we fulfill those responsibilities, go on and do our work. I mean, they used to study, I used to do research, but then, that way. So it was never, we were never in a situation of feeling overwhelmed or, feeling overworked or not having a support system or me doing all the work. There was
Hmm.
no feeling like that. So thanks to my co-interns, my internship was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I really learned a lot, experienced a lot. I saw really how teamwork can make all the difference. Even some of the most, the toughest and the most hectic postings, I'll not name subjects
Yeah.
here, but they went by, they felt like a cakewalk. Other than that, I took 3 leaves during my internship
Okay.
because I took research months off. I worked in CCMB Hyderabad, I worked in NCBS Bangalore, and I worked in ICMR and IRRCH Mumbai. So my internship was in breaks,
Okay.
but whatever time I had with my co-interns, that was wonderful. Even after that, um, it was very good. So at least for institutes like AIMS Rishikesh that are very well staffed and are tertiary care centers where the number of patients is lesser than a
Hmm.
state college, even though every patient is much more complicated. I feel internships are a great learning opportunity. They can be stressful, but as long as you do it with your heart and soul and your concentration, that okay, in my internship I'm going to work, it works out well. I cannot say for state colleges because I've heard that there's there's a lot of patient load and there's no ending to work. It's just a
That's
sea of work that you are
that's true.
floating in. And I believe at that point of time there would come a time that you'll get burnt out. You're
Yeah.
going to feel that okay, I don't want to do this. So that is where this sort of loops everything together, that why is it important to select a college that suits your personality,
That's
that
true.
suits what are your expectations from these 6 years.
Yeah.
Do you want to, there are also institutes that are very, very flexible about internships, so you can sort of navigate it the way, whatever way you want. If you want to focus on your academics and clearing the PG exam, you can happily do that. So it's
Yeah.
very important to select the right institute that would suit your personality. But all in all, in conclusion, my internship experience was great.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, sir. And at the last, I just want you to give a quick message for all the students, medical students especially, who are listening to this podcast.
Okay, so for medical students listening to this podcast, I would say that in India, we get into medical schools right after our school,
Yeah,
right? Many a times you don't really have an opportunity to explore careers, to explore life. And believe me, even though it might sound contrary to what I said before, medical school will give you an opportunity to do all of it.
sure.
We have a honeymoon semester where you can explore life, you can explore relations and relationships, you can explore careers, with medicine, you can get into science, you can get into tech, you can get into entrepreneurship, you can get into public health, you can definitely become a clinician, you can get into research, and these avenues exist. You
Yeah,
don't need to be, that I don't know what we call it in English, the single-sided horse or something like that.
blinders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just explore, just see what medicine and life has to offer. And the moment you'll take a step back and see, a lot of avenues will open up. And some of them might be your true calling that you had to reach through
yeah,
medicine. So just explore is the word that I'll give as a one word message to all medical students out there.
yeah. Wonderful talking to you, sir. And I feel that most of the medical students will get inspired by your journey, and what all messages you have given will definitely be very much helpful to all of them. Thank you, sir.
It was my pleasure to share the bits of my journey. And
Yeah,
thank you so much for having me and giving me the platform to talk about how I feel, how I have experienced medicine so far. So
yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful talking to you, sir.
Same here.